Martinsville Speedway short track racing underway.
See Clint Boyer on the outside of Denny Hamlin. We talk about the inside being the preferred lane, but early on a restart, that outside will roll pretty well because you chop that car on the inside. He can't turn like he wants to. He can't use all the racetrack.
Cut tires also a story when they get so close. The splitter, the exhaust, different things can cut a tire, spin a car around, and these two continue to stay side by side. Denny Hamlin in the 11, Clint Boyer in the 14, fighting for second.
Yeah, you try to get in the throttle on corner exit, and you want to use as much throttle as you can, and sometimes you drive the car out into the left rear tire, just like this right here, almost making contact there.
And Clint shoved himself in front of his teammate at Eric Amarola. That's what you're going to have to do. You're going to see that hole, you just got to turn left.
Eric tight on his bumper there, giving him a lot of pressure. Got to be careful to run that close to somebody this early in the race and build up, spike that brake temperature.
It's Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Clint Boyer, Eric Almirola, Kurt Busch, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, Daniel Suarez, and Joey Logano. Kevin Harvick rounding out the top 10.
The most common balance issue is that loose on entry, trying to get into the brakes down in the corner, and if you cook those front brakes and get them too hot, they fade and the rears work, and that's really the only thing you got getting in the corner and can really wheel hop the car loose into the corner there. So you got to be a little contact there with Blaney, Larson.
Saw Suarez hit the curb.
We're talking about that battle between Boyer and Almirola. See right here, just that little bit of a gap. Clint Boyer decided he was going to take it. Eric Almirola's teammate saw it happening. So Eric, instead of pushing the issue, kind of let off right there, let Boyer in. That's something you won't see later in this race. I think right now this 42 car is faster than the 12 car. Watch right here. Kyle Larson's going to start to peak just a little bit, meaning he's going to show the 12 car Blaney that he wants that spot. Gets a good run on corner exit, runs out to the wall, not the momentum he needs, but eventually if he ever gets that momentum, he's just going to get on the left side.
Yeah, you see
him he wants it.
You see him entering the corner just a little bit higher. He's trying to cross over in the center of the corner and get a run on corner exit underneath the 12 car. See him get in a little higher here, turn right here and try to get under him, but there's just no room there. He's trying to make that work, and he can make contact with the bumper on corner exit.
There, that was big. That was big high exit.
Now he wants to turn low here and get a drive off underneath.
And now he's going to show it. Now he's going to stay to the left. Even though he's not there, he showed Blaney he wanted the spot. Blaney knew it and gave him the spot.
That's textbook right here at Martinsville. That's how you do it.
And Blaney was able to do that because he had a space to go. Joey Logano wasn't right behind him. Blaney saw that, went ahead and didn't give the fight to Larson and took that spot, just rolled in behind him.
See it from a different point of view here. See how he arcs that entry, goes in wide, turns low, gets that lower, straighter run off. Now he's not really in position if Blaney wanted to defend that, but Blaney felt the pressure for a few laps and said, hey, I got to let this guy go. Dave?
Yeah, he knew absolutely that he could not hold off the 42 of Larson. He just radioed his crew. I am terrible. I have absolutely no drive up. Right there exiting the corner, he cannot hold anybody off.
Talked about the 78 and the 9 car of Chase Elliott having to go to the back. Chase Elliott working himself up to 16th. Just got by Ryan Newman. Yep. Good job so far.
Mark Truex Jr. taking his time here, trying to get through the back of this field, not moving up quite as quickly. Just taking his time. I mean, these guys are side by side in front of him. No, he's got a long race. This race is so long. And honestly, even though the leader is tracking faster and going to catch this, the back of the field, doesn't have to be in that big of a hurry because he's not running as hard as the leader. He's not pushing his tires as hard as the leader is back here in this pack.
We talked about Chase Elliott getting by the 31 of Ryan Newman. Well, he didn't really have to push his car very much to do it. Watch Ryan Newman. He turns left like he's going to go underneath Bowman, loses the back of the car. Chase Elliott just drives underneath him.
Bumps down into turn 3. That transition into the concrete. There's a lot of bumps driving down into turn 3 that gets those rear tires hopping. That rear brake system starts to hop into the corner.
And right in front of Ryan Newman, that 20 car of Eric Jones, what could have been He didn't advance into this round of the playoffs or the last round of the playoffs, but he ran very well. He's got a lot of top 10s, been very, very competitive. This guy, had he been able to advance, he might be a contender to get the Homestead. 5.3 average finish for this team. A lot of momentum, just couldn't work themselves into playoffs. Disappointing for those guys.
Eric Jones holding on to the 17th spot. Chase Elliott just in front of him. And right behind Eric Jones, Ryan Newman, Ryan Newman has been announced that he will be moving to a different team in 2019, Roush Fenway. Martin Truex Jr. as well in the 78s. He'll have to find new employment because Furniture Row Racing, who he drives for right now, they're going away at season's end. Marty?
And Rick, the team trying to stay focused. I did talk to Cole Pearn about that earlier this week. He said everybody who is on the road team will be at Furniture Row through the end of the year, so certainly good news for those guys. And look at that gaggle of cars trying to come from the back. But Junior, you mentioned a moment ago, Junior, they said they were going to have to be very patient coming through the field because, as Martin pointed out to me, 500 laps here at Martinsville, I need a car to work with at the end of this race. I can't just go move people out of the way. A little bit of patience involved here, even though they're trying to hurry through the field as best they can. He's made his way up to 27.
Yeah, he's already got a little bit of damage there on the right front as you see it. We zoom in there, but that doesn't bother me. I actually kind of like that because we've raced here before where we've lost fenders, and that's going to cool that right front tire. Actually could be a benefit to the 78 on the long run, keeping temperature out of that right front tire, keeping that front of that car rolling through the center of the corner. We'll see if that pays off later. Don't be too alarmed with that damage.
Yeah, I think Martin Truex Jr., he's got that two-car Keselowski behind him. I would imagine Keselowski's not really trying to pass Truex right now. They want to work together to work themselves up. So Keselowski's going to let Truex make the holes, and he's just going to go with him.
These battles continue back here. And earlier today, Hendrick Motorsports announced a new partnership with Ally Financial to be the primary sponsor for the Jimmy Johnson 48 team for all 36 races starting next year. We're thrilled to have them join other great partners in the sport and look forward to following the Ally Financial 48 team in 2019. Welcome, Ally Financial. Here, as a playoff contender, you advance to the championship round in Homestead, Miami.
You see this shot right here. This is going to be a factor all day long. Denny Hamlin, it's called Corey LaJoie and Bubba Wallace trying to put him a lap down. That's going to help Clint Boyer, but Clint Boyer has been watching Denny Hamlin and watching that line he's been running, and Clint's changed his line.
Yeah,
Junior, he's completely gone away from what we normally see from Clint and changed to what Denny's been doing.
Yeah, he seems to be kind of going back and forth between running his line that wraps that curb all the way into the corner, all the way through the center, to running that high entry and trying to do what Denny's doing right here. You see Denny kind of run high all the way through the corner. You give up entry speed, you give up center of the corner speed, but your drive off, you have so much more gas on corner exit here. You see him drive up on that 43 car on corner exit. Behind him.
And a problem in turn 2, the 51. That's Jeff Burton behind the wheel, got up into the wall in turn 2.
So we can come to pit road. Let him back it down, let him come around to here. Let him come around and we can.
44 laps into the 130 lap first stage.
Have to see, it was 43 green. Rick, we'll have to come back and see. That's a long time on those brakes. We'll see. He's already up on the wall, perhaps melted the bead in that right front tire.
And coming back onto the front stretch in front of the grandstands, back to racing. Great restart for Joey Logano, trying to hang on the outside. Kyle Busch just too much, and he'll surge ahead.
I thought Joey Logano would just fall in behind Kyle Busch rather. He eventually did. I saw him jump on the outside of him. I'm like, man, get on the bottom. But that was a good opening for Joey to fall into.
Ryan Blaney on that outside, making that outside look pretty competitive. Typically the bottom groove is really where you want to be, especially toward these front rows. But look at him breaking in the corner there, gaining a little bit on the 11.
The outside works pretty well on restarts. The air pressure's not up yet, so it puts a lot of stress on that front tire. The 11 car just does not turn on low air pressure. The 12 car up top, he doesn't have to turn his wheel as much.
That's right.
He's going to beat him off of turn 2 here. No, he's not. Hamlin with a good run off of 2.
With each corner, though, those pressures come up in that 11 car, and it gives him more and more opportunity to be able to take this spot back.
But Dale, each corner for that 12 car, he is abusing those rear tires, running the top of the racetrack with no one else up there. That took tire life out of this 12 to try to clear that 11 like that.
Somebody driving underneath him, I'd be nervous about that.
Under 62 laps to go in stage 1 from the paperclip. Caution just coming out, and it's for 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson, a 9-time winner at this racetrack. And here's what happens when you're fighting for position.
Is in beside the 20 of Eric Jones and just started wheel hopping. The car got away from him.
Yeah, you can see that right rear tire bouncing real bad, getting down in the corner. And contact almost there between the 11 and the 22 on the back straightaway. Logano trying to keep that position. These are on old tires now. These guys have air pressure up. Don't have quite the drive off that they had before. They're trying to put that power down to be able to contest these spots. It's hard to get that power down with these older tires.
And Kurt Busch got a good run off turn 2 there to get in front of Blaney. That's a good thing because they are lined up on the bottom. And look at Chase Elliott, who's worked himself into the top 10, but he's got nowhere to go. He's going to have to make something happen here. It's just he's going to have to hope that Ryan Newman makes a little mistake. Something happens. Maybe there's a hole behind Ryan Newman because they're lined up on the bottom.
Yeah, that 9 car just barely
there he
got the
goes.
fence a little bit there.
Good job getting in front of 31.
He squeezed right in there as Eddie DeHaan told him, take it, take it, take it.
Man, it's so intense. If you don't take that spot and push yourself, see Ryan Newman coming back at him. Chase Elliott, though, we saw earlier, he's been kind of running this upper line. I don't think that affects him as much as some other people, Ryan Newman driving underneath him. Most cars wouldn't be able to do that, but Chase has been up the racetrack anyway.
As we continue to watch this battle up here, back a little bit more, the 42, the first car off pit road with fresh tires and making them work. He has sliced through a couple cars, 2 and even 3 wide, and now look who is in front of him, the 78, the playoff driver of Martin Truex Jr., currently outside the top 10, running 17th. No stage points back there in 17th, and I've watched the 78 Rick push the issue a little bit. He knows these new tires are coming, Marty.
Restarted 24th for Kyle Larson. He's up to the 19th spot and trying to get around Truex. Yeah, they decided on the 78 not to pit Steve because they felt like the car was just coming in. They also wanted to stay on the same tire cycle as the leaders, but that 42 car pitted because they were way too tight, but making those new tires work.
And now it's just, we talk about patience. There's the 42, 2 wide. Is he going to force the issue 3 wide? Not this time. Looked like it was a little more challenging to get the power down than he was looking for, Rick. But he's going to be looking to the inside of this 78.
Yeah, Steve, I think it's so hard right now for Kyle Larson to be patient. There's nowhere to go. They're 2 wide in front of him. He's just going to have to wait this out for a little while. 2 wide, 3 rows in front of him. So, but I think about, Junior, the position that Kyle Larson's in. You know, fast race car, good race team. We're not able to advance to the playoffs. Not a good year. He kind of voices frustration this week, but I think that makes Martinsville even more difficult for a driver that's had a disappointing year because you're in the middle of this all day long and the frustrations run high.
Yeah, I think, too, he doesn't want to put one of the playoff contenders in a bad situation by going 3 wide here on Martin Truex Jr. It could be a reason for him being patient here. The 22 battling hard with Denny Hamlin for second. Kyle Busch just drove off from these guys, but it's a great little battle between these 3.
And Denny Hamlin took that second spot.
to be able to get to the front. He's done this on old tires. They last pitted at lap 45, 5 to go in the stage. They started at the rear, Rick, and they're going to get stage points here at Martinsville. That's impressive.
That was the goal, and it seems as though everything has been calculated. We mentioned so many times emotions when you come to Martinsville. Not too many emotional moves yet at this racetrack. Everyone's been fairly polite and calculated with every move that they've made.
I wonder if Truex can actually get to Blaney right here. It's going to be hard with only 4 laps to go, but Truex is clearly faster.
Martin Truex Jr. has never won at a short track, and I'm sure that he's sick of hearing that statistic repeated over and over. But it is one that is factual, and the fact that he hasn't won is a big deal because he's won 19 times on other size racetracks, just not on short tracks.
You can see he just has better drive off, better entry speed, rolling speed, in the throttle better. It's just hard though once you get underneath a guy to be able to use that throttle on corner exit. Taking a little time here to work over Blaney. Blaney's going to give it to him on exit of 2 there.
One thing that he doesn't have, we talked about it earlier, you know, what he's going to have to hope for is that, remember the pit trouble he had earlier? Well, if this thing goes on, continues like it is, well, the guys that are around him, they're still going to be on the lead lap, Paul Menard and Austin Dillon, so he's still going to have to battle having a good pit stop.
Denny Hamlin coming into 3 and 4 for the final time in stage 1. Looks to the outside of William Byron, but he will see the green and white checkered flag winning stage 1 at Martinsville. And Logano able to steal a spot from one of the big 3, taking second away from Kyle Busch.
Any idea the 24 is pitting?
Field coming to the Geico restart zone. Stage 2 underway.
Interesting restart there to 22. Look how far out he is.
Maybe he got a jump.
I think there was some orders for the rest of the Gibbs guys back here. The 18 held back, letting that 11 have that position. Only thing I could think there created that strange restart.
Logano out front, Denny Hamlin running second, then the fight for third between brothers. Kyle Busch on the inside, Kurt Busch on the outside.
And that fight behind him, you see Clint Boyer, you know, after damage like he had on pit road as a driver, you want to feel that car. You're hoping that car still drives good. Right now, it looks to be no problem for the 14.
Jeff, you and Ward fought door to door at many racetracks. What's it like racing against your brother?
Not fun. It's just not fun. It's too easy to make a mistake. You're pushing so hard. Both of these guys are in the playoffs trying to work themselves to Miami with a chance to win the championship. And when you're doing that, it's easy to make a mistake, easy to get into your brother. Makes Thanksgiving no fun.
Right behind these guys, Martin Truex Jr.'s worked to the inside of Ryan Newman. Got him up off the bottom, going to take that spot. Newman trying to work back to the inside in front of Kevin Harvick. Boy, that's a tough move, Jeff, especially pulling in front of Harvick, who's going for the playoffs here. Trying to get to Homestead. I'm surprised Kevin didn't give the bumper to 31 because Kevin's got the 9 on his outside, boxing him into that bottom groove.
I think Kevin's approach to this race, remember where he is in the points. He's second in the points. If he leaves here with a decent day, he's still in good shape. He's not one to cause any issues.
You're watching Monster Energy Cup Series racing from Martinsville. Joe Logano still out front. Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, and Martin Truex Jr. The top 5 here at Martinsville. Let's take a look at some Outback curbside takeaways from the paperclip. Drivers who led the most laps has not won a playoff race this season. Well, that doesn't look good for Kyle Busch. Right now, he's led the most laps, although he isn't out front. 5 career wins by drivers who won races in the round of 12. That's Chase Elliott, Eric Almirola. They only have 5 career wins between the 2 of them. They won every race in the last round. In the Big 3, 1 playoff win this season. That's Kyle Busch back at Richmond. Now, if Kevin Harvick places in the top 10 today, you get a free Bloomin' Onion with purchase on Bloomin' Monday.
Oh, man. Bloomin' Onion, Rick. You're right. That's right up my alley.
A little bit hungry, maybe?
I'm telling you, Bloomin' Onion sounds good.
You're looking at the leaders over there on the left side. Joe Logano has just lapped Kyle Larson. He's drawing up on that 12 car of Ryan Blaney to try to put him a lap down. Blaney, a car that was actually running the top 10, had good speed early in the race, struggling right here.
It shows you the importance of track position. Blaney lost his track position with that penalty, and now is back in the pack. And there's no there's no forgiveness. If your car is struggling a little bit and you restart 10th, it takes a long time before the leader gets to you. But when
he has to win those races, and hard to do. It's just hard races to win. You can have a great car at a mile and a half. You can kind of get spread out a little bit, take care of yourself. Here, you can't really take care of yourself. You see already all the contact and stuff that he's gotten himself into or been involved in with other cars.
And you and I never won road course races, and everybody knows we were great at it.
Amazing. Yeah, very good.
I'm glad that you reminded us of that. That's the information that I'm sure. Well, look at this. You're not supposed to leave pit road with equipment, especially a jack. And that's what Timmy Hill had just done.
Point seems important until you're on pit road losing multiple laps here at a short track.
I was going to say, you can create heat there, but you can also have a cooling, like not enough cooling. We've talked about that before, Letarte, where you just don't take, you can only cool so many things. So being able to cool the brakes plus the bead, got to be able to have enough hoses up there to do that.
And 3 back on pit road.
Yeah, we're hearing that perhaps they have some suspension damage or something, Marty.
And he's coming in. They do think they drug off the right front sway bar arm for the 3 car. He said something is wrong. So they're going to pop the hood here, go underneath, see what they can find. But they do think it's a sway bar arm on the right front. They do think also it was a melted bead on that right front earlier for Austin Dillon as well. So a lot happened here at the end of stage 2.
Sway bar arm is basically just a part of the suspension, connects the sway bar to the lower control arm. But remember, no interliners, Rick. So when that tire goes flat, you're on the wheel riding lower than you would at an intermediate track. That puts that piece of steel on the racetrack, and just like a grinder, grinds the metal away until it wears through.
One of the Chase drivers running in the 7th position, the 9 of Chase Elliott. Kelly?
Yeah, it's been a busy weekend for the gasman on the 9 car. John Giannotto left his mark in the Guinness Book of World Records yesterday for fueling the most cars ever in an hour. It was 148 regular street cars. They weren't race cars. He did that up in Queens, New York yesterday. So congratulations to him. I think he admitted he was a little bit sore after all that work he did yesterday. And I'll tell you, I hate going to the gas station. If I could get 148 fuels done in 1 hour, man, that's something else.
Where is he? 104. I mean, that's my kind of guy.
I would have liked to have been one of the cars that he would have fueled up.
John's a great guy. Super strong, powerful. The day he showed up at Hendrick Motorsports, all the crew chief's eyes kind of lit up. We need to get him on my team. It was a little bit of a draft war to figure where he would end up. Allen obviously won.
Only 18 laps to go in stage 2. You're not going to miss a thing as we'll go NASCAR nonstop. Multiple playoff drivers in the top 10.
Hey, somebody else who knows that 22 is coming is that 4 car, Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick is in serious danger going a lap down right here. He has been struggling the last 15 laps, Parker.
Guys, you see Jimmy Johnson right there trying to hold on to the lead lap. 1, it's a great comeback from spinning out earlier, but 2, he was instructed to hold off that 22 at all costs to stay on the lead lap here. This is a heck of a battle.
And this is for not only lead lap, but also the race. The stage 2 victory. Here comes the 11 moving to the outside. And the 22 dives to the inside of the 4, trying to put Kevin Harvick a lap down. Got on the curb there. You saw it to Denny Hamlin.
The problem for Harvick is if he can hold him right here, that'll be great. Get that lucky dog, but he doesn't want him to go up there and be able to lap that 48 or anyone else. Because Harvick would love to at least get the wave around or the lucky dog if he can.
Now Logano sets his sights on the 48 again. The 48 trying to be impossible to get around. The bumper to the back of the 48 from Logano.
Here comes Hamlin.
4 laps to go.
Best thing Kevin Harvick could do, Steve, is for that 11 to catch the 22 and let that battle happen and let the 48 get going.
Yeah, the 48 actually, remember, he spun out earlier. He's not having a bad recovery inside the top 15 from being backwards a little bit earlier. Good run on the 11. Which lane's he going to take? Is he going to look below the 22? He is.
He is.
And here comes Denny Hamlin. Can he complete the pass?
Denny's able to be that aggressive with his car because he's taken such good care of it over this entire run here. When he needs the brakes, when he needs the charge, they're there.
Logano trying to jump up on the outside of the 48. I think he's going to get there. Can he get a good enough run off the corner? That's an impressive move to trust your car enough to even try to go to the outside.
Less than 2 laps to go in the end of stage 2.
Look at this. If Logano can carry enough speed and exit with the 48, he'll have a shot at him.
And maybe a little bumper there from the 11 as they come out of the turn. 1 lap to go. A half a car length separating the top 2. Down the backstretch for the final time in stage 2. Who will have the best exit off of turn 4? Logano on the outside. Hamlin on the inside. It's going to go to Logano. As we get underway with the final stage, green flag back in the air.
Another great restart by that 22, man. It's 2 in a row. And he just jumps out there with so much drive through the gears.
One car that's missing from this picture, Ryan Newman, running very well today. Got caught speeding during that pit stop cycle. Had to go to the back.
And as they are fighting for position around this half-mile paperclip, let's head to the skies above the paperclip. These laps from above brought to you by Ally. It's such a great restart again for Logano. He jumps out to almost a 3-4 car length lead over Denny Hamlin, who was able to hang on to that second spot. Then the 18 of Kyle Busch running third. The battle continues for the 4th spot. The 41 of Kurt Busch has it, but Martin Truex Jr. right there in that 5th position fighting for 4th.
Yeah, Truex didn't get through turn 1 and 2 there very well, and Kurt's going to get that position. Now the 2, Keselowski, he's been fast all weekend, but hadn't been up here in the top 10 most of the day. Drove his way up through here, got some great pit work from his crew. He's going to take that position. 14 of Boyer, who was fading on the last run, back in the battle here.
Boyer doesn't get a good exit off turn 2. That opens the door with Martin Truex Jr. Fill it. He didn't.
Out of the 8 playoff contenders, that's what kind of round this is going to be. Came in at -12, currently -44. Okay days are not going to work in this round when it comes to the playoffs and trying to advance to Miami.
It's early to call it a must-win situation, but these 2 drivers are finding themselves in that position because being 44 points behind and 28 points behind, only 1 driver is guaranteed to get into the championship playoffs based on points. Kelly.
And unlike Eric Almirola, Chase Elliott and that 9 team came into this race above the cut line. Granted, it was only 3 points, but crew chief Alan Gustafson told me their mindset was that they just couldn't give up any points today if they're going to have any opportunity to point their way into the championship race. He said if we lose points today, we put ourselves in a must-win situation. Well, they unfortunately have done just that, especially with the 22 leading. It shows them as 29 points now below that cut line. They've just struggled with the 9 car this weekend. They don't know why. Alan's saying we just can't find any speed in it. The good news, they seem to get better throughout a race, week in, week out, and he's running top 10 now.
And Kelly, let's listen into the 9 radio.
And watching Joey, the thing that he can do, his car cuts earlier than our car does, a little bit before center, especially when he moves up, which gives him a lot of speed.
And they're talking about the 22 of Joey Logano.
What Alan's explaining in the spotter and the driver discussing there is every car here is tight to some point in the middle and loose off. The question is, are you loose off because the car's too loose, or are you loose off because it doesn't turn and you're standing on the gas with the steering wheel turned? And that was a veteran crew chief saying, listen, the guy leading the race, his car turns better. So I know you might be loose off, but let me try to make it turn better and see if you can get the wheel straight and help me with the exit. Always a compromise, Rick.
Compromise, pressure, patience, a lot of things everyone has to think about as Logano continues to lead here at Martinsville.
Look how good this 78 gets through the middle of the corner. Man, it just turns the middle, which allows them to drive off nice and straight, Rick. We're hearing rain. A lot of people talking 10 or 12 minutes out. I don't know if it would end the race. There's lights here. I think it might be a chance to drive the racetrack. But in case it does, you need to be the leader, right? That would be the win. This race would be official.
And Steve, you better believe it, Cole Pearn has told Martin Truex Jr. that rain is coming, and you can almost feel the sense of urgency in the 78 camp pick up at that point. He got past Denny Hamlin, now he's tracking down the 22. That rain is coming, but also what's coming, Steve, the window to make it to the end of the race. So how brave are you, Mr. Crew Chief? You come down pit road, even under green, you lose a lot of time, but if the rain doesn't make it and we go green, that might be the move to win the race.
There would be braver than me to short pit here at Martinsville. This is one, Rick. I am going to run all the way until I see at least the playoff cars I'm racing against. We're going to all come to pit road as a happy family.
The 22 runs right on that curb. He's one of those guys that hasn't really moved around too much, changed his line too much. He has moved up high and tried it a few laps, but he always seems to come back down to that bottom, rolling the bottom against the curve. Truex a little bit higher. I wonder if the build-up on that, some of the guys, once that rubber does build up on that bottom groove, whether their cars just don't grip that rubber and they need to move out of it, get the right sides above it, straddle it. You talked about that earlier, Jeff, how the guys have to kind of straddle that rubber on the racetrack once it builds up. And I think that's what some guys have to face. Once the track changes and gets enough rubber down, you have to be able to, move around and adjust your line.
It's so important at this racetrack is not to get locked into saying, I have to run here.
Yeah.
Because that rubber buildup changes and you got to be willing to move around. That's hard to do when you're in the middle of the hornet's nest. Right now, the 78, he's got clean racetrack. He can try something, move around a little bit. Logano clearly can't. He's working lap traffic trying to get by them. But when you have it second, you need to look around, see if you can find something better.
And the rubber doesn't stay there under caution, much like Dover. We picked that rubber up with the hot tires and we go back to green with pretty much a green racetrack, and then we put the rubber all back down with that set of tires. And track is changing tremendously all the time throughout the day.
It's an interesting battle, guys, because I believe in clearing racetrack. The 22 is as good as the 78. But that 22 car, Rick, it costs him more time to get through traffic. I don't know if his car just needs both lanes to work. I don't know if maybe they're fighting him because he's the leader harder. But right here, you see the 78 and the 22. The 78 doesn't really gain on him when they're out there by themselves. But as the 22 catches this
for 222 laps, Martin Truex Jr. hasn't led a lap yet, but here he is fighting on the back bumper of Logano for the lead.
He's going to have a hard time making this pass on the inside. Logano, we've seen everybody up there making speed on that high side, so that's a competitive line still for Logano.
Saw Truex in the back of the 22 just a lap before. This is huge right here. Win this race, move on to Miami. You said it, Logano is going to put up a fight, and the track's going to allow him. In the past, this race is over. The 78 is by him already.
Turning down now, inside bumper.
But the one thing it does when you have to run up the racetrack is you have to have a lot of faith in that guy following you. That 78, every corner right here gets just inside that left rear quarter panel, just inviting for a little nudge, just a little nudge to move him out of the lane and to scoot by.
And don't forget about that entry into turn 3 or turn 1. We'll hop in the rear tires. If the 78 has that happen, he's going to have to get off the brake pedal, potentially into the back of the 22. So a lot of trust here between the 22 and 78 as they race each other. Very, very tough here at Martinsville.
Look at the rear drive the 22 has on corner exit using that high line. That's what's preventing the 78 from making the move. The 78 is clearly faster. 78 now using more racetrack on entry, trying to diamond the track a little bit. Got a great run off of two.
Spinning the rear tires a little bit. You see him. He's pushing it hard.
Going to drive in deep right here, trying to get alongside. Game over. 78 in the lead.
33rd all the way to the lead.
Started at the back, and now
Come on.
Martin Truex Jr. leading at a short track, Martinsville Speedway.
You have to give up. Oh, we got a car on the wall. 24, William Byron in turn 3 and 4 has spun around.
Into the wall, right in the middle of turns 3 and 4. The caution will come out.
The battle moves from the racetrack to pit road.
And
If you get it fired up, go backward.
the weather is coming. That's the other issue that's coming up.
Will somebody stay out, Steve? Would a guy like Newman, Ty Dillon, Allmendinger, would they stay out, not pit, and then hope it rains?
I just think with 97 laps on their tires, if you even had one corner, one restart, I think you'd be wrecked. And while the weather is closing in, it's still a few miles out. I think you have to plan on going back under green flag conditions. Take a look at what happened to William Byron there in the 24.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from this angle what started it, but whether he got any help earlier.
It's only 127 laps to go from Martinsville.
Truex, a control car. 22's had some amazing restarts. Interested to see what happens here. Oh, look at the bump, but the 10 car.
Almirola into the back bumper of the 22. Logano able to keep it straight, hangs on to second. The fight for third. Almirola on the outside of Denny Hamlin.
That's a really good job by Logano not to lose control there and still be able to beat the 11 car off of turn 2 and roll back into second.
This is kind of the first restart where guys aren't able to really take care of their cars and ride. Everybody here right now, I think, is pushing harder than they have all day long on these first few laps, wanting to maintain every single position they can, knowing that we're coming close to the end of this race. Whether we get weather or not, these guys are pushing extremely hard. To be interested to see right now who has the best early run car. We haven't really been able to get a good test of that yet.
And that top lane we talked about earlier, it's not going to work right now. That top lane is going to work when the tires are old.
Half to the 2.
They don't have that grip. You use that top lane to help you exit. You saw Amarola losing spots. He was a guy that found that top lane, but it didn't work at that start. Now here's Joey Logano putting a lot of pressure on Truex.
Yeah, the rubber's gotten picked up from the racetrack under that caution. And
big run right here.
There comes Logano looking to the inside. Can he take the spot away quickly from the 78 and Truex Jr.?
Yeah, I think so. That was amazing how deep he could get down into turn 3. I don't think Truex even could defend that.
Logano's roll speed through the middle of the corner and then the exit speed, being able to put the throttle down, was impressive to say the least, coming off turn 2.
But guys, with 123 laps to go, these drivers.
I think they realize how big of a deal it is to win that race and have 2 weeks to prepare for nothing but Miami.
You referenced last year when the 11 of Denny Hamlin got into the 24 at the time of Chase Elliott and wrecked him while he was running up front. Timmy Hill in the 66, you see the flames rolling from underneath that car. DW throwback paint scheme as Timmy Hill jumps out of that car, and the fire extinguishers will go to.
Yeah, that's right on pit entry.
You got out okay.
You see him, he's going to force a yellow. You can't have a car sitting on pit road entry. That thing's not going to move.
As does the 78, the 14 of Clint Boyer, the first one to dive onto pit road. Then Chase Elliott followed just behind him. Kelly.
Crew Chief Alan Gustafson making a last-second call to bring Chase Elliott down to pit road. He was happier with his car since they went back on some adjustments. The call was for 4 Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel, Marty.
Got to give a call to Mike Bugaravich coming down pit road, trying to do something different. Clint Boyer running 8th. The car was too tight the run before. This time, much better for Boyer. Going to be 4 fresh Goodyear tires here, Parker.
Evan Harvick just pulling away there was 4 Goodyear tires and an adjustment in the right rear right there. Being the second to last car on the lead lap, they had nothing to lose making this pit stop.
Got to be careful not to speed coming off of pit road.
And Rick, this is a big race off of pit road. You want to be the first car on new tires. You want to be able to attack those old tires. And it looks like Chase Elliott's going to win that race off pit road. Could be more points for the driver, the number 9.
Elliott, Almirola, and then Clint Boyer, the race off pit road. Martin Truex Jr. Back up through the gears they go as they dive into turn number 1.
Dale Jr. called it. That 22. He is remarkable when he can control the pace of the restarts. Great acceleration out of that 22 car.
Keselowski also with a strong move, moves up to 3rd.
A little slip. Truex is slipping a little bit here. See him there? See the back of the car having trouble? I wonder if he cleaned his tires well enough on that last caution.
And behind them a little bit, Clint Boyer in that yellow car, he was able to jump on the outside. He's going to be the first car with 4 tires, getting by the 9 of Chase Elliott.
He has to think that this is his day, right, Jeff? I mean, I think he's willing to move people early. It's not going to be just for the lead. I think he looks at this 31 of Ryan Newman, 105 to go. He's not going to have any problem putting the bumper to him.
Yeah, you got to go now while everybody's stacked up, while everybody's right there in front of you. Attack while you can on these tires before they start to equalize with the rest of the field's older tires. They only have 8 or 9 laps on them, so he doesn't have much of an advantage. It's to go now.
How about the 18 of Kyle Busch? He jumped up on the outside trying to make the move work. Still on the outside of the 11. Could have gotten behind him, chose not to.
Came close to brushing the wall as well. The 18 still trying to get by on the outside of the 11.
That's tons of confidence. When you jump up on the outside of a car as good as the 11, the 42 was a problem.
Kyle Larson into the wall on the backstretch.
Stop here. Stop up against the wall. Stop.
This has some sort of major issue with all that smoke. You see he reaches up, drops the window net. That tells me.
I think you got a fire here, Kyle. Go ahead and start unstrapping yourself again now.
Saw a plumes of smoke as he was going right up against the wall entering turn 3.
Let's take a look at the replay. Looks like his right front tire's got air in it. Off turn 2 here. Something broke.
Take as they come back to the stripe. A great restart for Mark Truex Jr. on the outside, Logano on the inside. Brad Keselowski, one of the non-playoff drivers, right there in the mix as he's fighting for that second spot.
41, drive to the bottom. That's going to slow that inside lane down just a little bit. Clint Bowyer's going to try to use that to his advantage.
Brad Keselowski also has that short run speed that the 22 teammate has. He's able to take that position from Martin Truex Jr., who's now battling with Kurt Busch. A little sheet metal traded there.
31 to 14 in the back of the screen. Remember, at the Roval, the 31 was upset at the 14 of Bowyer.
Yeah, you don't forget about those things.
Side by side for fourth, Denny Hamlin on the inside. As Logano down challenge for the lead.
Locked up the left front tire getting down in the corner.
Trying to stay off of his teammate.
Oh, man, and he's pushing hard. He's also trying to take the lead. Not going to make it easy here.
I love this, though, guys. Teammates, it doesn't matter to Brad Keselowski. He doesn't care he's in the playoffs and Joey Logano is. He wants a win. A win for his team, a win for his sponsors.
A win for the organization, and Brad wants to deliver it.
Brad gets a little
hard
loose there.
into the turn. He goes up the racetrack. They fight door to door as they come down the front stretch.
So hard to race like this. Brad Keselowski trying to be respectful for Joey Logano, but Brad needing the win, won the win, clears him off of 2.
Keselowski out front. Logano running second. Kurt Busch is third.
And Truex all the way back to 6th.
That's what these late race restarts do. You be running all day long, working yourself to the front like Truex did, and then a few restarts and you're in 6th. I mean, how does that happen? It's so frustrating.
Hamlin's getting aggressive now. Denny Hamlin taking the spot away, trying to take that spot away from the 41 of Kurt Busch.
Kurt Busch tried to squeeze him down into turn 1. Denny Hamlin was having no part of it. Forced his way in there, made a little contact. Now he's solidly inside the 41. The 41 has to fight because the 18's behind him and the next car behind him that continue to take this spot.
Yeah, these guys are really pushing their cars hard. Denny down in the corner on the brakes, hard up the racetrack. Take what you need. It's what you hear from the spotter in that position.
He clears him, so Hamlin up to third. It's Keselowski, Logano, Hamlin, and here comes the 18, Kyle Busch, following right in the tire tracks of Denny Hamlin.
Truex trying to get into that corner. Look here, Truex on the curb. Close right there with Kurt Busch. Again, same thing here. Kurt's trying to cut across the nose of 78. He's going to let him have it.
A little bit further back in the field, the 9 car, Chase Elliott in 9th position. Look right here, a little bit of damage. He and Ty Dillon racing together. A little bit of contact off of the corner. Now look at the tire rub on the 9 car.
That's pretty severe.
Talked about cut tires, your equipment, managing your equipment. As Kyle Busch easily clears the 11 of Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, hand out the window for the driver, the 11. He wants to win the race, but this is for third. And we've seen this. Look, there's still 76 to go. Denny Hamlin knows he wants that position, but he has to continue to save tires. Push too hard, guys, and you will burn those tires up.
Stewart-Haas battle between the 14-4 and 10 continuing, and also continuing is Brad Keselowski dominating at 2.2 seconds in front of Joey Logano, who's running second. Denny Hamlin is third. Kyle Busch Martin Truex Jr. all in the top 5.
Getting that rubber down on the racetrack. You see guys moving up the racetrack now. Able to use that outside line, trying to turn under people on the corner exit. This is a bit of a rebound for Harvick on the right here, battle for 9th underneath his teammate.
Two great battles right here, Junior. This battle between all the Stewart-Haas drivers, and then Jimmy Johnson jumping up in the scene. And then on the left side, you got Chase Elliott trying to get by Ryan Newman. Racing all over this racetrack.
Rebound for Chase, too. He was fading pretty bad in the stage 2.
Look at that move by Chase. The 31 up the racetrack. Chase accelerated, just drove in there. Didn't even try to make the corner exit so much, just trying to take that spot from Newman. Still Newman fighting hard. Oh, man. It's too much to watch.
Over here. Yeah. 14's going to lose a couple spots here.
Oh,
Chase goes
Elliott.
up.
Yeah, Chase kind of ran up in front of Newman. See what Newman thinks of that going into turn 1.
Newman thinks, I'm going to run on down in the corner and try to race you again.
And Chase knows it. Chase giving him a lot of room. Not wanting any trouble, not wanting to fight.
He does clear him as they come off of the turn. And now Chase in the 11's faster. The 11 could turn him around.
He could. But again.
Right there, giving him pressure hard. I think this is it right here. Joey's going to have to realize the long-term goal. I think if he races this 11 more and more, he's giving him more opportunity to get to where he can lean on his bumper a little bit harder and harder, put him in a bad position. Move him up the racetrack. It don't take much to spin a car out here.
It's a race to the lap cars. That's what this is. They're looking at these lap cars. It's a race to get there. Be the first guy there so you can pick the lane. Right now, disadvantage Joey Logano.
Yeah, the 23 moves up the racetrack and gives that inside lane to who's ever there, which right now is Denny Hamlin. Hamlin's going to take advantage. He'll take second. And around goes the 14.
Oh, that's huge.
Clint Boyer spinning.
17 cars in the lead lap.
Got any damage, or we just spin? Flat, no damage.
Take a look at the replay here and see what happened to Clint. Just coming off turn 2 down the back straightaway.
48 got us, so we lost a lap.
3 wide here.
Yeah, 3 wide.
Busch side by side, green flag back in the air. Here comes Keselowski with a great restart. Keselowski not a part of the playoffs. He is out of the playoffs, but still fighting. He is definitely a factor in this race.
Kyle Busch was able to beat Keselowski off turn 2 to take second place.
And
in the back of the 22.
Back of the 22, too. The 22 had a great restart. Those guys having great restarts on sticker tires. The 18, though, fought hard to get in that second position.
It's where Logano's been so fast all day on these short runs, but Kyle Busch, he's got a fast race car right now as well.
So few laps to go. Everyone aggressive now. A win and you automatically advance.
Oh,
and
Brad
now Keselowski pushes the 18.
He did.
And Truex going to try to make it 3 wide here. Thinks better of it. Logano's happy. Look at this contact.
Here comes the 11. Also, Denny Hamlin working his way back up.
That 22 pit crew, they've gained 8 spots today on pit road. That last one gave Logano the lead. Let's see if he can take advantage of it and get this win.
Brad Keselowski closing back in on the back of that 18 car. Shoved him through the middle of 3 and 4. Surprising because Keselowski's not a playoff driver. The 18 is, but doesn't matter to Brad.
Remember, Junior, these two drivers don't like each other. They have said it many times that they will race each other as hard as they have to.
Let's see how the 18 feels about that.
AT's got to remember the goal. You do not want to cause a big issue here. You're in a good spot at the points. You want to win this race, but you don't want to get yourself in a caution and give away all those points you've earned.
That's the fight for second. Coming into the picture, the 78 of Martin Truex Jr. Never won at a short track race.
32 laps to go, coming to 31. Brad Keselowski was leading this race, driving away. Now he's trying to chase down his teammate, Joey Logano. Looks like he's doing it.
Logano, Keselowski. Then Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., Hamlin, Kurt Busch, Newman, Harvick, Suarez, Chase Elliott all in the top 10.
Keselowski clearly faster than Kyle Busch. After that battle, little friendly wave down the back straightaway. Appreciate you not hitting me too hard.
Yeah.
Wrecking me.
But look at this, 78-18. Truex has run him down. Kyle Busch, I think, struggled a little bit. This is a time where he would not be saving. So this is all they got. Both these guys, it looks like Truex has a little bit faster race car. He's putting the pressure on. It's gonna be hard to get by though.
Those two drivers, part of the big three, in Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr., winningest drivers this year, including Kevin Harvick, part of that big three. And now it looks as though Truex Jr. forcing the issue here. At the end of the season, the 78 team goes away. It's been rumored, and a lot of people suggesting that the 78 driver of Martin Truex Jr. and Cole Pern, the crew chief, are going to go to Joe Gibbs Racing. Now they're racing against what could be a future teammate.
Yeah, look what Truex is doing. He really didn't have the spot, but he keeps showing Kyle Busch, I'm faster. Watch what happens right here. Stays in line, but if you see him get just a little bit closer with some momentum down the straightaway, he's going to stay left. Show Kyle Busch, hey man, work with me, give me this spot. Doesn't mean he's going to give it to him, but it's a good signal from a driver.
And Jeff, just imagine being Martin Truex Jr. Remember that last restart? They got shuffled back. He was running 8th when they came to pit road. Got to a couple positions there, and this last restart, much more advantageous for the 78. So that restart sort of reinvigorated this 78 team with a shot to win once again.
And a battle for the lead. Logano has lost the incredible cushion he had over Brad Keselowski. Keselowski reeling him in, and a fight between these two teammates. Logano, who's in the playoffs, Keselowski not in the playoffs, fighting for the win here at Martinsville.
Keselowski overcooked turn 3 the last time through here, lost the bottom of the racetrack. Look at the roll speed Keselowski has through the middle of the corner.
Almost got into the back bumper of Logano.
Yeah, but this battle for 7th.
Oh, it's been crazy. The 4 has been hung behind the 31. Kevin Harvick has run out of patience. Chase Elliott moves the 31 up the racetrack.
Take what you need. Let's see what the 31 does here.
Oh, he's going to be Ryan Newman. Crossing back over. Drive inside the 9 in the corner.
Will he get into the side of him?
And Chase likes this outside lane, though. Chase knew if he ever could get in that position, that's really what he wanted. He wanted to be able to just run that upper lane. That's where he's been all day.
With 23 to go, Joey Logano has his work cut out for him because the 2 of Brad Keselowski is there, and he is just waiting, putting the pressure on the 22. One slipped tire, one mistake, one contact with that inside curb, and Brad Keselowski will be going by.
Be interested to see if he'll be as aggressive with his teammate as he was with 18. Logano's so hard to pass, wrapping that apron so tight all the way through the corner. It really doesn't present an opportunity for you to get underneath him on corner exit, even though you can gain on him on corner exit.
Logano has been great at this racetrack at qualifying. For the last 5 races, he was able to win the pole. Didn't win the pole this week, and said that they tried a different strategy, maybe a different plan, because they hadn't won here at this racetrack. Well, now, as the laps are winding down, they're out front. They have a shot at winning the grandfather clock. That is the prize at the end of this race.
And that's all Brad Keselowski cares about. He doesn't care that Joey Logano is his teammate. He doesn't care that Joey Logano's still in the playoffs. Brad Keselowski wants to win this race because he knows behind him, this 18 and this 78. If this 78 gets by the 18, he will be coming. He's been better over the longer run. We still have 20 laps to go as we see the 78 hang a left. Will he get inside the 18?
They're racing everywhere. Battle for the lead, battle for 3rd. Behind the battle for 3rd is an incredible battle for 5th as well. It's nuts. I mean, this race is just crazy. Look behind us.
It's so good. That's the last one in here. We got to go too.
These guys are pushing their cars harder than they have all day long, so those front brakes, you can see the rotors glowing on Keselowski's car and the 22 of Joey Logano. It's who can make the adjustments inside the car. You can turn those brake adjustments and the track bar to keep up with the cars. It starts getting looser and looser and looser on corner entry.
And Rick, I didn't think with as few laps as we had to go when they started that traffic would come into play, but here it is, right in front of the leaders. A single car here will be easy to pass, but as you get farther into the pack, they get 2 and 3 wide, and here comes Brad Keselowski with the crossover. Will it work?
Brad Keselowski, here he comes. Look into the inside of Logano for the race lead.
Wow,
they get into each other. Keselowski trying to stay off the 22.
That outside lane once again works on corner exit.
I was so impressed by how deep Brad drove the car down in there without getting loose and backing into the side of the 22 car. He's got another run here. He's going to push him.
Joey's going to have a hard time holding the 2 car off. The 2 car has so much run on corner exit. Watch this run the 2 gets on corner exit. Not that time.
Look at the battle behind him.
78. Here comes Martin Truex Jr. He's going to get by the 18. Lap traffic coming into play there.
Does Truex have enough time, enough speed to catch these guys?
All right, there's the bunny in front of you.
And now Logano, under 15 laps to go. Keselowski, will he get frustrated? Will he punch the 22? Punt him out of the way.
He is driving that car so deep into the corner. It's crazy. Look how far down in the corner and how much he gains on the 22.
Well, if Brad's going to make a move, he needs to do it because pretty soon he's going to be playing defense as well as offense. The 78 is closing in, a car length every corner.
It is heating up front.
That's
Less
the first
than
time.
14 laps. Now 13 to go.
That's the first time I saw the 2 cars slip a wheel off corner exit. But look at the 22. He's struggling there down into the center.
Keselowski bumped him again.
At some point, I think you'll see the 2 car jump the outside. I think he goes so fast into the corner, I think you could roll the outside and try to use that grip on corner exit to make this pass. We are getting ready to have a 5-way battle for the lead. They are coming from behind.
Logano, Keselowski, here comes the 78. Martin Truex Jr., the 18 of Kyle Busch. All right there fighting for these top 4 spots. And don't count out the 11, a 5-time winner here at Martinsville.
Logano's going to have to be perfect. The pressure inside that race car, you know if you can win this race, you have a chance to win the championship. It moves you to Homestead. His car is not as fast as the people behind him. He's going to have to be perfect.
I see Brad's car a little weak on corner exit there. Joey was able to drive off on corner exit. Joey with a little higher line, changing his line, maybe helping a little bit. The 78 putting the pressure on the 2.
Here comes the 78. Martin Truex Jr. looks to the inside of the 2.
See if this 2 can get this run on corner exit.
What a drive off by the 78. I was so surprised there that he's able to keep up with the 2 on corner exit. Man, that 78 is so good on the long run. Look at him roll the center.
This battle's going to help the 22. He needs the 2 of Keselowski to fight the 78 to slow him down just a little bit. Because the 78 is not going to be friendly when he gets there. It is not going to be nice. He's going to do what he has to do to win this race. Clear the 2 now.
Less than 9 laps to go, and now no cars in between the 78 of Martin Truex Jr. and Joey Logano. The 78 of Martin Truex Jr. has never won at a short track. This is his best opportunity right here.
He's going to catch 95 in a tough spot. Corner exit.
Really bad spot.
These 2 fighting for a guaranteed spot in Miami for the championship. Logano crossing the stripe, 7 laps to go.
Truex right now, he's looking at the 22, trying to figure out where he's weak. Clearly the middle of the corner is where the 22 is slow. How can you use that to your advantage?
Truex with more speed. Will he be aggressive enough to get by this 22?
Truex going to turn left right here. Good momentum off of 4.
Looking to the inside. Can he make the pass? Will he make contact?
He's there.
A race to the lap car once again. Who can get there first?
Oh,
contact made.
Come on, Mother Baby, come on.
They're diving into the turn of 3. Truex on the inside, trying to take the lead away from Logano.
Logano trying to run him as tight as he possibly can to make it almost impossible for the 78 to put the power down on corner exit.
78 loose on corner entry right there. Can Joey use it to his advantage? Great job out of lap cars, by the way, getting out of the way.
Side by side, Logano and Truex. And then Keselowski's going to come back into the picture, as is Denny Hamlin fighting back there. Now, 4 laps to go. Logano's holding him up on the outside.
Look at this run the 22 has on the exit of turn 2.
22's holding him so tight on corner exit. Look from this view how tight he's going to hold him on corner exit, not allow him to use the throttle.
He moves up the track, contact again. Logano still up front.
That almost scares me a little bit. That allows the 78 to square up on that rear bumper, just move him out of the way.
He looks to the inside again. Now Martin Truex Jr. setting him up. Coming up on 2 laps of racing to go at Martinsville.
Look at that run on the high groove.
Clear by 3 feet, all clear, 2 to go.
So much pressure inside these cars.
This is an incredible drive by Joey Logano, regardless of the result.
He raced him clean again to the inside. Martin Truex Jr. has the advantage as they come up the turn. He'll see the white flag one more time around. Martin Truex Jr. on the inside, looking for his first short track win, as well as a trip to Miami to try to defend his championship. The 2017 champion, will he get the bumper? Yes, he does. Here comes Logano. Logano on the inside, a drag race, they're sideways, and it's gonna be Logano getting the win. Joey Logano fighting back.
Miami, baby.
Truex not happy.
Great job, buddy.
Logano put the bumper to the back of the 78 when they were going through 3 and 4. It moved Truex Jr. up the track enough that he had an opening. And the first thing you heard on the radio, Miami, baby. Logano has secured a spot in the championship 4. This moment presented by Sunoco, fueling victories all season long. The elation of the team knowing what they have just accomplished.
I think Truex expected him to maybe race him a little cleaner because of how Truex had raced him to the finish. But man, it's a trip to Miami, it's a trip to Homestead, and it's the last lap. It's for a clock.
This is a clock and a championship. Remember, Joey Logano, so close to a championship a few years ago. The disappointment, that late race, bad pit stop, took him out of position. That hurt them. This was a chance to get himself back in that position. We talked about it when these playoff system was created, the situations it would put drivers in. It's going to put them in a position to do things they wouldn't normally do because there's so much on the line in an individual race, more than ever before.
You saw the look on Martin Truex Jr.'s face.
I'd be mad too.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you drove the guy clean, you gave him respect, you could have moved him out of the way, and you didn't. And he did it to you. So, what does that mean? Remember the Roval. Remember the Roval. That same thing happened. He got taken out coming to get the checker, to get the win.
Joey Logano has stopped in turn 3 while they get the front stretch stage in place. And he's going to jump out of the car as he takes his helmet off. Will it be the typical smile that we normally see out of Joey Logano? He got the win, had to rough a driver up to do it. We'll find out what he's thinking. Marty.
Well, you hear the crowd on the other side of the racetrack. Some boos for Joey Logano. A smile on his face, though. Walk us through the last lap and the thought process of the move on the 78, Joey.
Miami, just thinking about Miami. Thinking about how we can win a championship with this car. And, you know, I knew it was going to be a fun race there today. Yeah, Martin was definitely better. Our car wasn't as good there that last run. And I was just doing all I can to be as defensive as I could. And, you know, we were racing hard. He was getting into my left rear. We were both running hard, as you expect. And then, you know, you just got to expect Martinsville at the end of the race that you're going to have some bumping and grinding there at the end. So proud of this Shell Pennzoil team. Man, this has been a tough season. And it's great to get our second win of the year, the biggest win of the year. And now we're off to looking at a championship.
As you were coming down the backstretch, did you know what you were going to do going into 3 and 4 on the 78?
I knew I was going to lay the bumper. You know, we raced really hard here, and you know, he kind of obviously slides up. I don't really blame him just a little bit, but he was able to clear me there. And this the next thing you know, I knew that my win shot was just to try to lay the bumper a little bit. And that's NASCAR racing. That's what the grassroots are. That's what the fans come here to see. And some might not like it, but it's one heck of a race at least.
And you hear the fans cheering, guys. Joey Logano, smile on his face. The one thing we know for sure, Rick, his ticket to Miami is punched.
Well, and you see the thumbs up from Joey Logano, but Martin Truex Jr. thumbs down. Let's hear from him. He's with Parker.
Right, Rick, he was joining in with the crowd booing there. So, Martin, you heard the boos. You heard what Joey had to say. What's your thoughts on that move at the end?
May won the battle, but he ain't win the damn war.
That's it?
That's it.
So he's not going to get there. You're not going to win the championship.
He ain't.
How do you retaliate?
I'm just not going to let him win it. I'm going to win it.
You're going to make it the championship for?
It's the plan right now.
And anything you want to say to all these fans out here that have come out and seen the show?
Appreciate them being here. They're awesome, man. This place is great. We should be in victory lane right now. But, you know, it's just the way it went today. It didn't work out. But proud of my guys, proud of our team. And, you know, everybody said we're out. Said we couldn't run good at Martinsville. We don't run good at short tracks. Our team's shutting down, so we can't make it to the championship 4. Yeah, bring it on. I'll show you. I'm going to show everybody.
Would you have done the same to him in the same position?
I was next to him for 6 laps. I never knocked him out of the way. We were going to race hard for it in my book. And, you know, I cleared him fair and square. We weren't even banging doors for me to pass him. He just drove to the back of me, knocked me out of the way. So, yeah, it's short track racing, but what goes around comes around.
There you hear it, guys. What goes around comes around.
What goes around comes around. And when a championship is on the line, a ticket to that championship 4, you never know what a driver's going to do. We just found out what Joey Logano's willing to do. He puts the bumper to the back of the 78 of Martin Truex Jr., pushes him out of the way. That's right, Denny Hamlin actually ended up second, and Martin Truex Jr. comes home third. The elusive short track win still not able to be captured by the 78 team and Martin Truex Jr. It was Joey Logano who was able to fight all the way to the finish line and get the win. We did.
Victory lane at Martinsville Speedway. Joey Logano has found it. His crew has been waiting for him, and here he comes. Always a couple of sides to these Martinsville stories, Dad. A big hug for his son, who toughed it out there at the end. And of course, your team, as I was walking into victory lane, all about yeah. Martin, not so much. He wasn't happy with you, Joey.
Yes, it's like I said, it's racing. It's what we got to do to get there. We got to get there first, and we had a great car today. Our pit crew wanted us to race. They were so fast, and you know, some are going to like it. I said haters are going to hate a little bit, but I'm a hard racer, and I don't think that's a secret to anyone. And we're here to win a championship this year.
Joey, how do you race the remainder of the championship knowing that you've dealt a blow like you dealt today?
We're focused ahead right now. We're focused on building a car. Team Penske did a great job building me a great car for this playoffs here throughout the whole run, and also to come here to Martinsville and finally get the win here. We've led so many laps, qualified so good. It's about time we finally get a win. I don't feel like tracks owe you, but man, we've been so close so many times here to getting that grandfather clock behind you, and man, it feels good. So whatever happens from here is going to happen, but we're just going to focus hard on moving forward right now and building a great car for Miami.
So what about that, winding this old clock back there and putting it somewhere in the house? How's that feel?
Oh man, so it's going to be great. Yep, we'll know what time it is. We won't be late anymore, but man, it's so cool. I wish my family wasn't here. My wife and Hudson, they're not here, but hey, wish you were here. But man, what just a cool day, and just hold it.
Yeah, even colder now. Even colder. Got to ask you one more time. Talking to Martin after the race, he said that you may have won the battle, but you're not going to win the war, Joey. How would you respond?
Okay. It's as expected. I mean, we raced hard there, and he raced really clean, and laid the bumper to him, so I don't expect him to be happy. But we got to do what we got to do, and he's going to do what he's got to do, and we'll hash it out, I'm sure, one way or another. But this was our shot. This is maybe our only shot, so we had to make it happen.
He made it happen today in victory lane. Joey Logano on his way to Miami through to the championship 4.
And we saw the Coca-Cola poured over his head. Let's take a look at today's Coca-Cola winning moment for Joey Logano. Pushed the 78 a little bit, coming out of 4, and then got to the inside and was able to outrun the 11 actually and get to the finish line first. Joey Logano getting his first win at Martinsville. And that signature.